The wedding hall shimmered with golden lights, but my mother's cruel words left me stunned. "You have no seat. Serve the champagne they ordered," she said, thrusting a tray into my hands. Humiliation burned inside me as I walked with the tray, my body, already in an advanced state of pregnancy, aching with each step. And then a sharp pain, my water broke. Gasps filled the room, but before I could react, my sister's furious shriek echoed in my ears. "You're an embarrassment." And before I could process it, she slapped me so hard my head snapped to the side. My skin burned, the silence in the hall became suffocating. But what happened next was even worse, even more terrifying. My name is Selena, and I'm 29 years old. I work as a senior paramedic at Bestis Bridge Medical Center, a career I chose out of a deep passion for emergency care. I've always wanted to be on the front lines, helping people in their most critical moments, providing immediate care, and making a real difference in life or death situations. I'm 8 months pregnant with my first baby, a girl. My husband and I have dreamed of her for years. Every prenatal checkup has confirmed she's growing perfectly, and despite my enormous belly, I've felt calm and at peace. But today is different. Today is my younger sister's wedding, a grand occasion where I'll see family members I rarely interact with. It should be a joyful day, but deep in my chest, there's a knot of discomfort. In front of the mirror, I adjust the final details of my dress when I hear my husband's voice from the hallway. "Selena, we should be going." Ethan, my husband, is a financial analyst at a renowned firm. His voice is gentle, but when it comes to protecting the people he loves, he's unwavering. We've been married for 3 years, and our relationship is built on trust, understanding, and unconditional support. He's one of the few people in my life who truly values my profession. As I adjust my dress one last time, memories of the past flood me, memories of the decisions I made, and the rift that formed between my family and me 10 years ago. My mother insisted I study medicine to become a doctor, but I chose to be a paramedic. For her, it was an unforgivable mistake. "Why would you waste the opportunity to be a doctor?" she yelled at the time. "You're throwing your intelligence away." But my choice never had to do with intelligence. It was about being present in emergencies, offering direct care, and making an immediate difference. I never regretted my decision. If anything, my years of experience have proven I took the right path. However, I never imagined my vocation would create a permanent division between my family and me. My mother, Vivian, and my younger sister, Liana, have always seen me as an embarrassment, someone who didn't live up to the family's high standards. My mother is the CEO of a prestigious interior design firm, a woman who radiates power and influence. She's always impeccably dressed in designer brands, her hair and makeup perfect, and her presence impossible to ignore. For her, status and image are everything. Having an older daughter who decided to be a paramedic was a humiliation she could never accept. She made sure I knew it, and so did Liana. My younger sister followed our mother's ideals to the letter. She became an executive in the family business, thriving in the world of high society, while cultivating a huge following on social media. In recent years, she's constructed the image of a perfect family online, posting glamorous photos of luxurious vacations, dinners at exclusive restaurants, and extravagant Christmas parties. But the reality is different. Our relationship is nothing more than a superficial illusion. Even at family gatherings, my mother showers her with love and admiration while I'm treated as if I don't exist. That's why when the wedding invitation arrived, I hesitated. I didn't want to go, but in the end I convinced myself that as her sister I should be there. Ethan supported my decision with his firm, reassuring voice. "We'll go together. You're not alone." And now here we are. Ethan parks the car in front of the Windsor Grand Hotel, the luxurious venue for Liana's wedding. The autumn air is crisp as I step out of the car. I place a protective hand over my belly, and a gentle movement from my baby reminds me that today is not just about my family's expectations, but about my future as a mother. I take a deep breath, straighten my back, and walk towards the entrance, hoping the day will pass without incident. Upon crossing the doors of the Windsor Grand Hotel, the sheer extravagance of the place leaves me breathless. The grand ballroom is a dream come true, white and gold, with decor that sparkles under the glow of crystal chandeliers whose reflections look like stars on the ceiling. Fresh floral arrangements fill the air with their fragrance, lining the walls and adding a touch of elegance to the already impressive space. The tables are covered with luxurious tablecloths and precisely arranged tableware, each place carefully prepared like a work of art. Everything is executed to perfection, exactly as my mother and sister would have wanted. But despite the luxury, my steps falter for a moment. I remind myself to breathe. Ethan senses my tension and gently squeezes my hand, giving me a reassuring nod. Before leaving home, he told me more than once, "If you feel uncomfortable, just tell me and we'll leave." But I can't yet. I won't ruin my sister's special day. I take a deep breath and force myself to move forward. The wedding won't start for another hour, but the 300 guests are already filling the ballroom, mingling and exchanging pleasantries. I recognize several high-profile figures from my mother's business circles. Design magnates, investors, and influential socialites, all dressed in impeccable suits and elegant dresses. Some of them are even patients from my hospital, people I've interacted with in a professional setting. Women in sophisticated cocktail dresses glide through the room, their refined laughter mingling with the soft classical music playing in the background. Near the entrance, I see Liana's bridesmaids, all wearing custom Vera Wang dresses. They're standing together, murmuring among themselves while glancing at me sideways. I can tell they're avoiding making eye contact with me. They don't want to be associated with me, or perhaps they fear that having an 8 months pregnant sister in the room will ruin the wedding's perfect aesthetic. I suppress the sting of their silent judgment and continue walking. I scan the room, searching for my assigned seat, and then I see her. Vivian, my mother, is across the ballroom, impeccable and majestic as always, in a custom-made blush silk dress, designed to reflect the grandeur she believes she deserves. A pearl necklace shines on her neck, a symbol of her success, her status. She embodies power, perfection, and control, the same things that have defined her entire life. I take a deep breath and approach her. She turns just as I reach her. Her eyes scan me from head to toe with that same icy expression I remember from 10 years ago. The same look she gave me then when I told her I would become a paramedic. She looked at me with that expression, a look that said, "You are a disappointment." I clear my throat. "Where is my seat?" She doesn't answer immediately. Instead, she lets the silence stretch, as if my question wasn't even worth answering. Then in a slow, deliberate voice she finally speaks. "You have no seat." I blink, unsure if I heard correctly. A slow smile plays at the corner of her lips as she tilts her head slightly. "You don't deserve one." My stomach churns. I feel Ethan stiffen beside me, but before he can say anything, my mother gestures towards a tray of champagne glasses resting on a nearby cart. "Take this." I stare at the tray, uncomprehending. "What?" I repeat, my voice barely above a whisper. Her smile widens. "You heard me. Take the tray and serve the guests." A few nearby attendees glance in our direction, sensing the tension. Some whisper behind their hands while others pretend not to notice. I look down at my swollen belly and then back at my mother. I open my mouth to argue, but before I can say anything, another voice cuts through the air. "You can handle this. Oh, even pregnant, you should be able to do it." I turn and see Liana standing a few feet away in her wedding dress, that Vera Wang masterpiece, fitted to perfection. But her expression is pure venom. She lets out a soft laugh, as if all of this is a joke to her. "After all," she adds, "it's my special day." A ripple of laughter spreads through the crowd. The humiliation seeps into my bones. I look at Ethan, who appears furious, but I shake my head slightly. I don't want to cause a scene, not today. I take a sharp breath, swallowing the lump in my throat. Then with trembling hands I reach for the tray. The glasses clink as I lift it. My mother watches with satisfaction. Liana's smile only grows wider as I turn and begin to walk through the hall, serving champagne to the same guests I was supposed to be seated with. I feel my cheeks burning with shame. Each step feels heavier than the last, each whisper, each mocking glance, each disguised smile. And then a sharp pain pierces my abdomen. I freeze. A second later, a warm liquid trickles down my legs. My breath catches in my throat. No. The tray trembles in my grip as another wave of pain hits me. Harder this time. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Finally, people begin to realize what's happening. My water has broken. Here. Right in the center of Liana's perfect wedding. I barely have time to process it before a furious voice cuts through the air like a knife. What are you doing? I look up just in time to see Liana rushing towards me, her face contorted with rage. You're ruining everything, she screams. Before I can react, before anyone can stop her, she slaps me across the face with all her might. The sound of the impact echoes through the hall. My head snaps to the side, my vision blurs. For a moment, the tray slips from my hands. Champagne glasses crash to the floor. The entire room falls silent. And then chaos erupts. I'm frozen, my cheek burning from Liana's slap. The echo of shattering glass reverberates through the ballroom. The champagne glasses lie in pieces around my feet, the golden liquid and broken shards scattered. I hear gasps, someone chokes back a cry. The pain returns, stronger now, sharp, tearing. My body is telling me my baby is coming right now. The whispers begin, hushed but frantic. Did she just hit her? She's pregnant. What's wrong with Liana? Oh my God, her water just broke. I feel dizzy, overwhelmed by humiliation, pain, the absolute disbelief that my own sister hit me in front of hundreds of people. And then a firm, authoritative voice cuts through the chaos. Everyone, step back. I'm a doctor. I turn my head slightly and see Dr. Sarah Whitmore, one of the most renowned OBGYNs at Bestis Bridge Medical Center, rushing towards me. Her eyes reflect concern as she quickly assesses the situation. Selena, honey, she says with determination, placing a hand on my shoulder. We need to get you to the hospital immediately. My breathing is shallow. I can barely nod. As soon as the doctor speaks, I see other medical professionals among the guests step forward. Nurses, paramedics, and even a surgeon from my hospital. Meanwhile, Liana is still fuming, her white dress billowing around her as she points an accusing finger at me. You did this on purpose, she shrieks, her voice thick with rage. You just had to make this about you. She takes another step towards me, her hand still clenched in a fist, as if she wants to hit me again. But before she can, Ethan is there. His fury is something I've never seen before. With a swift movement, he places himself in front of me, shielding me from my sister's wrath. His voice is low, controlled, but with an undeniable threat. Touch her again, and I swear, Liana, you'll regret it. Liana freezes. I have never seen Ethan so furious, and by the flicker of hesitation in her eyes, neither has she. Then, another voice breaks the tension. What the hell is going on here? My mother, Vivian, is standing near the main table, her face pale with shock. For the first time, I see something other than calculated coldness in her expression. There's panic. Not for me, but for what this scene will do to her reputation. I can already see several guests recording everything on their phones. It's happening fast. Some of the younger ones, probably the ones who follow Liana on social media, are already uploading videos. The image of a pregnant woman being slapped at her sister's wedding is too scandalous to ignore. In the background, hotel staff are rushing to clean up the broken glass, but it's too late. The damage isn't just on the floor. It's on Liana's impeccable image. Security is called immediately. The venue manager arrives, frowning, and speaks to my mother in a low but firm voice. I don't hear the conversation, but I know what's happening. The Windsor Grand Hotel will not tolerate a scandal like this. This is my wedding. Liana tries to argue. She ruined it. But the manager cuts her off sternly. Miss, we have multiple witnesses who saw you physically assault your sister, who is also heavily pregnant. His tone is firm. I strongly suggest you lower your voice. Liana's mouth opens and closes, but no words come out. For the first time in her life, she's not in control. The weight of what she did is finally hitting her. The high-pitched wail of sirens bursts into the ballroom, breaking the tense atmosphere. Outside, the ambulance pulls up. Within seconds, 2 paramedics rush in with a gurney. I recognize them. They work at Westridge Medical Center, my hospital. One of them, a colleague I've worked with before, kneels beside me. Selena, we've got you. We'll get you to the hospital. Dr. Whitmore nods urgently. She's in labor. We need to move her now. Ethan is already by my side, holding my hand tightly. I take one last look at my mother. She avoids my eyes, her hands clutching the sides of her dress. And for the first time in my life, I see uncertainty in her face. She knows this scandal will ruin them. Then I look at Liana. Her perfect wedding is over and she knows it. As they wheel me out of the hall, I hear an officer's voice behind me. Miss Liana, we need to speak with you. The silence in the room is deafening. Multiple witnesses have confirmed that you assaulted your pregnant sister. We'll need you to come with us. The weight of those words falls upon her, harder than any slap. Liana's perfect life, her status, her influencer career, her pristine reputation. It's all about to crumble. I don't have the energy to look back. But I hear the gasps. I hear the voice of Ryan, her fiancé, murmuring something about having to reconsider things. And then Liana's desperate voice. No, you can't do this. It's my wedding. Do you know who I am? But it doesn't matter. Actions have consequences. I let out a deep sigh as the paramedics load me into the ambulance. For the first time all night I feel at peace because this isn't just an ending. It's the beginning of something better. The ambulance speeds through the city, its sirens slicing through the night. I'm lying on the gurney, gripping Ethan's hand tightly. The contractions are coming faster now, each one more intense than the last. Dr. Whitmore, who insisted on accompanying us, continues to monitor my vitals. You're doing great, Selena, she says in a calm voice. Just hold on a little longer. We're almost there. Ethan's eyes reflect worry, but his grip on my hand remains firm. I'm here, babe. Just breathe. I nod, trying to focus on my breathing, but the events of the night keep replaying in my head. My mother's cruel words, Liana's slap, the gasps of the guests, the flashing cameras. For years, I'd been the outsider in my own family, unworthy in their eyes, simply because I'd chosen a different path. But now everyone knew the truth. Liana was finally facing the consequences of her actions. I let out a shaky breath as the ambulance pulls into Bestis Bridge Medical Center, my hospital, the place where I spent years saving lives. Now it's my turn to be the patient. As soon as they wheel me into the delivery room, the pain becomes unbearable. Nurses and doctors move around me, preparing me for the delivery. Dr. Whitmore stays by my side, giving instructions firm and reassuring. Ethan never lets go of my hand. The next few hours blur into an intense mix of pain, effort, and pure emotion. And then a piercing cry fills the room. The sound cuts through everything, bringing tears to my eyes. My girl. Dr. Whitmore lifts her carefully, her voice warm and gentle. She's here, Selena. Your daughter is here. I weep as they place her in my arms. She's tiny, warm, perfect. Ethan's breath hitches as he presses a kiss to my forehead. She's beautiful. I caress her soft skin, her tiny fingers curling around mine. Emma, I whisper. Her name is Emma. And as I hold her, feeling the steady rhythm of her breathing, I know. Everything that happened tonight led me to this moment. The past doesn't matter anymore. Now I have my family. My real family. The next morning, I wake up in my private room at the hospital. Emma sleeps soundly beside me. Ethan is sitting in the chair near the bed, scrolling through his phone. His expression is unreadable. You have to see this, he says, holding out his phone. My breath catches. The video of the wedding has gone viral. It's everywhere: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Millions of views, thousands of comments. People are furious. The clip shows everything. Liana's arrogance, my mother's coldness, the exact moment my water broke, and most shockingly, the slap. One post shared by a wedding guest has over 2 million views, with a caption that says it all. Bride slaps pregnant sister at her wedding, just because she stole the spotlight by going into labor. Disgusting. The comments are brutal. This is beyond cruel. That woman is a monster. She should be in jail. This isn't just being a spoiled brat, this is abuse. Karma is coming for her. Ethan keeps scrolling to another news headline. Social media cancels influencer Liana Carlisle. Brand deals dropped overnight after wedding assault video goes viral. I blink in shock. Her brand deals? Liana, who boasted about the same luxury brands that sponsored her, had ties cut immediately. Her follower count is plummeting. The influencer who once sold herself as perfect is now being torn apart on every platform. An example of everything wrong with toxic, self-absorbed influencers. And then Ethan shows me another update. Ryan, her fiancé, called off the wedding. Apparently, his family wants nothing to do with the scandal. Liana's fairytale life has shattered overnight. She built her life around status, image, and the validation of social media, And now the entire world has turned against her. But it's not just Liana who's facing the consequences. My mother's company, Carlisle Luxe Interiors, is also under fire. Customers are boycotting her business. Former employees are speaking out about the toxic environment, about her true face. Investors are pulling out. Within 6 months, her company collapses. Vivian's 30-year career crumbles. And just like that, the power and influence she worshipped for so long vanishes.